after 9 o'clock, it's time for In the Garden with Carol Ann. This is an interactive show. How about that, huh? The number is 622-9622. If you would like to interact with Carol Ann, talk about your lawn, your garden, your flowers, your mulch, anything that fits into those categories. Good morning, Carol Ann.
Good morning, Larry. Real good, real good.
Not too bad, huh? The weather looks nice.
It's looking
cool tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah, so we get a little break there. Humidity's been pretty high, so it's been a little muggy.
Yeah. It was kind of...
Well, there was a little fog, I think, this morning.
Yeah.
They were saying, by the time I got out, I didn't see any, but it's, obviously still overcast. The windows are foggy because the temperature and humidity difference between in here and outside
gives me a false sense that it's foggy out there.
Yeah, you got one area cleared there that's probably because of your electronics there warming.
Or me.
Yeah,
because I'm sitting over here.
Combination kind of thing.
Look at there's an overcast thing happening.
It is, yeah. It is a bit overcast. And trying to look and see actually when is this long stretch of, I think it's unseasonably warm, but it's not by too many degrees, when you watch a weather report or something like that, and you're going, the average temperature this time of year, and we've been running maybe a couple degrees above it, but it's like, okay, come on, I love the heat, but it's like, okay, people are wanting their cool season plants, and it's like, you don't want to put them in the ground if they're going to die because it's still too warm.
So I have a question about the way plants behave. Do they drop their leaves anyway, or because it's warm, they'll keep their leaves longer? They
may linger on there a little longer for us because we are going longer. They may not change color at the correct time, because the color change and things like that is a reaction to stress. And the stress usually from the cold is from that temperature change, the day length and things like that. They're still going to drop leaves because they are still going into a dormancy or semi-dormancy based upon day length, humidity, rain, all of that. It's a whole combination. It's not just one item. It's a whole basket full of stuff. So it's, one of those things we just... Right now, we're still mowing. Things are still growing. Your warm season flowers and things still are doing okay. Some of them might be a little worn out from being in the ground since March, April, May, sometime, where you started putting in your warmer season plants. It's not bad to wait a little bit. They're starting to come in, but it has been too warm for them. So if you're not finding them in the stores, kind of be happy that they're not trying to push something off to you that you're going to take home, and you put it in the ground and you take your time and you try to get them, and next thing you know they're dead, and you have to replace them, and becomes a spending cycle. And nobody wants to do that. You want to put it in, make it look nice, and let it be. Another thing with some of the cool season stuff, if you are getting it in the ground, or will in the next couple weeks, don't overwater it. That's one of the biggest things that we, with our temperatures being a little bit warmer during the day, is that you see that cool season plant look a little sad at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's like, so you want to run out and water it.
No, you shouldn't.
No, he's not thirsty. He's hot.
Sad. Why does it look sad?
He's hot.
Thank you.
He just give him a chance to cool off once the sun starts to go down. And if the next morning, if you know that you watered properly either earlier in the day or the day before, things like that, don't just run right out with the watering can or the garden hose and start watering it, because a lot of those cooler season plants prefer it to be a little bit dry. That's one reason we can grow them here during this time of year, as well as that they just don't like our heat in the summer months. So, up north, they're spring plants. For us, they're fall/winter plants and die out in early spring. But, we're drier in the wintertime. We're cooler in the wintertime. But when we're still 85 degrees in the afternoon, with, I think, some of the humidities have been, today's going to be like 79% humidity. It's going to be muggy.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to be muggy today. The plants don't like it. And so they may show a sign of stress. But if you've watered them, if you went out and you watered them, because today's Tuesday and you water your garden on Tuesday, don't come back at 4 o'clock Tuesday afternoon when you get off work and go, oh, they're wilting, they need more water, because you might wake up Wednesday to mush.
To
plants
what?
to mush. Your plants just being dead and
Really?
squishy. Yeah.
Oh, no,
yeah.
that's not good.
So no, it's not. It's
So, okay, I have a question about my cactus.
Okay.
It's doing pretty good.
Good.
I actually hardly water it.
Right.
But I see cactuses out there in people's yards. Don't they get as much water as the rest of the plants?
They do, but you figure in the landscape that drains. Our sandy soils allow that water. It doesn't
So
puddle.
It might
doesn't,
do better if I put it out there. And right now it's in a pot. And maybe
I mean, because it's still little, it's
how
nice
big
to
it'll
enjoy. It's nice to be able to enjoy it in the pot,
Yeah.
and like you say, you don't have to water it too often. You might have to send a picture and see whether or not maybe it would benefit to go into a little larger pot. And as you change pot sizes, it will grow bigger.
maybe I should do that.
Yeah,
it's getting big. It's hard to believe.
Is it?
Yeah.
Was it in a little teeny?
It was a little tiny,
little $50 size pot.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and if you've put it up to say like a 4-inch
It's got a bigger pot.
clay pot,
Right.
And clay pots are great for them. And this is one plant or one family of plants that yes, I would buy the cactus soil, the small
we
bag.
did.
Yeah,
We got the cactus.
because one, the fertilizer that's in it is for them, and that the drainage. If you were going to go with a gigantic pot, you know what, I might go just based upon, because you can only get the cactus mix in a small pot, would be to go into a just regular potting mix or think of the ground. And you can put the cactus in the ground once, but I wouldn't put them in when they're teeny because they're going to get lost.
Yeah.
And better chance for them to not survive.
Probably a foot tall by now.
Nice.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow, that
Yeah.
is. So
And
you're treating
hardy.
it very good.
I mean, it's hardy. It's like thick and round. And,
Nice. Well, then you're treating it the way it wanted to be treated. So, it
Just
may
leave it alone, maybe,
Just leave it alone. If it looks like it's way out of proportion height wise, that if it feels like it might tip.
No, not yet. Not
Okay.
yet, not
Then,
yet.
that's when you might put it into the next size pot. But they don't suffer real bad if they are a bit pot bound. So it's not going to be something that you immediately have to go, oh no, it's
Florida's
done.
pot bound, by the way.
Yeah. Colorado already there, so.
Colorado is good.
But, so with the cactus and that, it's a matter of, like you say, you're not watering it a whole lot, just occasional watering. And if anybody else has cactus, one of the big things to remember is if that soil's starting to pull away from the side of the pot, you've waited too long to water it.
Okay, no, I'm doing
because
pretty
then it's shrinking up in there, and it's
Yeah.
hard to get that wet. After that,
Oh, really?
without damaging, the plant. So don't let that soil really shrink up. You're looking, depending on, again, the humidity in your home, sunlight, how much you are watering it, once a week, once every 2 weeks, something like that is enough water to moisten that soil, and then let it, again, dry out somewhat between waterings.
Phone line is open if you would like to call Carol Ann. The number is 622-9622. I will, I forgot to do this, but I'll go to the Facebook page also if you want to text us.
Yep.
Carol Ann's Facebook page is called In the Garden. And I think there's only one other one, and that would be in, what did we say?
Was it in
Sanibel Island or something?
Sanibel. Yeah, I think it was Sanibel.
But anyway, you can text me on there too. I'll be there in a second if you want to ask something by text. Once in a while, people do, and I just forget to
Do it,
sign off
right.
sometimes, Yeah.
So I don't know if I don't think I see the text part of it, but, I can bring up the page. I do have to occasionally refresh it because it won't.
Oh, really?
For some reason, that page won't refresh always on its own. I don't know why. Probably just that I have a little tiny, Chromebook is all it is.
Yeah, maybe they're
Yeah.
texting through the WOCA site. Maybe that's what
Could
they
be, could be.
do. So
But,
anyway, you can text us if you want to.
And you can post to the In the Garden page to ask a question. Share a photo, and it's not just sharing, share it with all of us. You got a question on something, you've got just something you want to brag about, that it's a fantastic plant, and like I've said before, I don't want somebody selling sunglasses, but if you know of garden club events and things like that are open to the public, share it with everybody, and you get more people coming out to your events and things like that. So that those are all welcome additions to that page, because it is an extension of this show. So please do.
Do you know what I wanted to ask you
enjoy
about?
that.
You're on your Facebook page. You
Right.
have the cover picture.
Yeah.
Is one of those little fairy.
Yeah,
gardens,
little
right?
fairy garden. Yeah.
So are they real plants there?
Yes.
And
Oh yeah, now see, I didn't build this one. I took a picture of it because I just thought it was adorable. I loved it. And oh yeah, the fairy gardens, you can do those. They're still popular. I mean, they were kind of faddish there for a while, but people still do them. It's a great introduction to gardening. Children like to do them. You can make them elaborate.
Do you know what I saw?
I've seen large ones in people's landscapes where instead of going the true miniatures, there's a little bit bigger where somebody has a stump from a tree that they've cut down, and maybe they purposefully cut it and left it tall so they could make this garden around it using that stump as your fairy home.
That's
or the
cool.
gnome home kind of thing, and they make a little roof and do
I must be getting
all
old,
that kind of
but I think
things.
it's cool.
Oh no,
But I saw-
they're kind of neat, and actually they're kind of fun too. Like I said, with kids,
In Michael's,
they enjoy them.
In Michael's, they sell
All kinds of little accessories and
tiny
things like
things,
that.
yeah.
Oh yeah, all kinds of things. And there's so many different ways you can do these. On your own. You don't have to buy necessarily so many kit pieces. If you're handy with wood, you can do, or even plastics and things like that. But, a small mirror becomes a pond. The glass beads and
That's
things
clever.
like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
become different things. And they do use mosses, small house plants. You may have to find like a specialty place to try to find some of these things, only because a lot of times in the stores, the smallest plants, you're not going to fit too many in your planter, depending on the size of it. But if you're doing like a landscape size one, they can, you can use obviously larger size plants.
There's a segment coming on later on from the Justice League estate sales people.
Okay.
And they had a house that they were selling the estate worth of stuff last week.
Okay.
And the lady who had it must have had a gazillion. That's a big number.
Right.
Of like the Christmas houses.
Oh, right,
Oh my
right.
gosh, they would be perfect for it.
Right, yeah, that you can use those into a fairy garden as a seasonal add-in. And things like that. I mean, it's up to your imagination and how much fun you want to have with it. How big of a pot do you have? Or a lot of people even use like the broken. I think you have a picture of one on there. Broken clay pots where they will stack them and almost make I call it a potted mountain. Where there's layers. Of ones where you take and possibly this one's got a lot of different ones
That's
on that
cool,
picture.
yeah.
But there's so many. There's a little one you got a picture of with a little camper thing, and I think that might be a birdhouse or just something handcrafted. Kind of thing of something that works with your lifestyle and stuff. And these are fun little projects. Sometimes you can even find them as kits in the children's craft areas. Usually, obviously aimed at little girls, but it's a good start. And even some of them come out of the ideas from terrariums. And whoops, I said terrariums, and you just scrolled up to a picture that's got a small.
Weird?
But I think they're probably using that almost like a little atrium house in there.
Yeah.
But so many, you see the different ideas using the colored glass as water feature, mirrors, the sands and things like that. Now those can be expensive. Some of those sands and stuff, but if you're making a simple project, maybe you don't mind, or you may think of another way of creating some of them. And I think some of those that you're looking at there's the one I was thinking of.
That's the broken
where
pot.
the broken pot, it's like going up a hillside, and really pretty neat
And
kind
look
of stuff.
inside it, it's got little tiny pots.
Right, where because you can buy in their little craft size. And some of the, obviously some of those additions in there might be artificial. There may only be a couple live plants in there, or they're using the mosses, which stay low or easily cut away to keep them down and in check.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, wow.
They're a lot of fun. They can be fun.
We haven't really talked about fairy gardens before, but
Not in a while. I think we did a little bit. I think when I first put the picture on, and it is, and I believe you can find like you said in Michael's and stuff, and these are great little thinking now. Yes, I know it's October, and the pumpkin and the turkey haven't had a day to shine yet. But if you're thinking ahead and you're doing your shopping for that one with the guy with the big red suit, these little things make
That's
great
Joan
little
Isles,
gift,
by the way.
great little gift ideas, to get, so, if you know somebody who likes to tinker in with those small kind of crafty plant type things, as well as, like I said, for children. They do they're a lot of fun for that as well.
Yeah, that does sound like fun. Yeah. Very cool idea.
Yeah. And it's,
I have a question for you about how to get rid of some plant material.
Okay.
In a gutter.
You get up there with your gloves and you pull it out of there. Yeah, just get in there.
Maybe the question should be, how do you prevent it?
How do you keep your gutters clean?
Just keep them clean.
Keep them clean. Yeah, they actually, they make some water type wands, so you don't have to step up on a step ladder, that are hooked and have the way the jet nozzle acts as something that will push it down the line and just
flush
it out of there. And, that helps to keep the water from building up in there too during some of our heavy rain and possibly being detrimental to your roof. So keeping your gutters clean does two things. It keeps the trees from growing in it, can keep ants from getting up in those areas too, because there's nothing for them to hide up in, that they have no reason to be there, and, keeps the trees from growing in your gutters.
A tree growing in your gutter wouldn't be good.
No, it's not. I mean, I think we've all had them at times where you have one section that might be a little harder to reach.
Don't realize it's a tree.
you don't realize it's a tree till you look up and you go, oh my goodness, time to go get the ladder. Or pick up the phone and call somebody that can give you a hand on that. Always be safe with up on the ladder and doing stuff like that.
Do you ever have when you're helping somebody out with their landscaping, do you ever have a plant growing under the driveway and it's causing a problem?
You can. There are some trees and things, if they're planted too close to foundations and things like that, or the sidewalk, driveway, and that, there's
But does it kill the plant?
No, actually, it lifts the driveways and things like that.
If you cut the root out,
if you cut the root out, generally no, it's not going to kill it.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's so long as it's not 90% of the root system, but you want to look, if you're planting things in the landscape, is pay attention to the size of that plant and how the roots grow. Some of our big oak trees, the roots are very much surface roots. You watch the news after a hurricane or something like that, and you see the trees overturned, that's just taking that top part of the dirt up, because they're very much at that surface. So getting them too close to a foundation or the driveway, the sidewalk area, you may run into problems later. So, and I know on a lot of the gardening groups, people do ask that question, how bad are the roots on certain plants? And you should, if you're doing your research, be able to find that out, that you'll be able to see what's going on with things like that. If normally we're not planting huge trees right near a driveway. We're stepping away anyhow, just because you don't want all that dropping on your car. Possibly limbs dropping off or anything like that. So. No.
If you want to call in, the number is 622-9622. If you'd like to text, I guess you do it on Facebook and just use the WOCA page, I think. I'm not really sure how you do it. Or you can text it to me, but I'm not so sure that would work. I don't do texting on Facebook a whole lot. I get them on my phone, and I think they are through Facebook. I'm not sure.
Well, Messenger goes through Facebook.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, Messenger goes through Facebook, and text goes through your phone number.
Okay, so you can do it that way if you want.
Yeah, so the other is, a little different. But, okay, well, because I'm seeing the time too. We got stuff to give away at the bottom of the hour. So we don't want to forget to do that.
You have some good stuff.
We got all kinds of stuff here. If we don't get Repticon, it's a reptile 1-day reptile event. Repti Day, the 1-day reptile event. It's up in Gainesville at the Wyndham Gardens in Gainesville. It's this Saturday, right? Yeah, the 26th. This Saturday, 10 to 5, and we're giving away a family pack ticket giveaway. It's a $30 value. It's good for 2 adults, which are ages 13 and up, and 2 child tickets, 5 to 12. Children under 4 are free. This will be one where if you call in, we'll get your phone number, because it'll be at the will call window on the day of the event. So And if anybody else doesn't get through, I guess you can, or if you need more information, it's www.repticon.com/Florida/Repti-Day
So wait a minute.
dash Gainesville.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
Okay, now earlier you implied that a fairy garden would be mostly for little girls.
Right.
But what about a dragon garden for little boys?
Little,
You could get one of those iguanas or something.
Get an iguana or a bearded dragon kind of thing.
Put it in
Then you're making, what you're doing with that is you're making a terrarium.
Outside
It would be, in a big, a habitat
'Cause you
is
wouldn't want
what
it
you
to
would
run
do.
away, yeah.
Right, you would have to, you would be doing into a what they call habitat, or a big terrarium is what usually you have your lizards
So
and other
call 'em
things
a
like
dragon,
that.
don't call 'em a lizard. Yeah.
Dragons. Well, bearded dragons.
What kind of reptiles does it say?
I think they don't say which, let me see, oops, pick up the piece of paper there. They're not actually saying what's available, but I'm sure that has things, not just the reptiles themselves, but you figure your lizards, your geckos,
Right.
snakes, frogs, hermit crabs, all of those different
Really?
things are
That's a
probably.
reptile, a hermit crab?
It's not really, but you figure it probably falls within this category.
Right.
Turtles, because turtles aren't reptiles either, I don't believe. I know there's a definition.
Wait a
Neither are
minute.
snake.
I think the tortoise is, though.
Is
like
the tortoise?
ground, what do you call the gopher tortoise? Isn't that a reptile?
You know what? I'd have to look. The definitions. It's like fruits and vegetables. I'm not sure
Right,
the
right,
definition
right.
on that, how that goes. But yeah, and accessories. If you already have a particular type of lizard, and you're looking for a larger reptile, I should say. Larger habitat or additions to your habitat and things like that. You need accessories for them. You have one, you would like to have another, a different kind. A good place to learn. But so we do have, I believe Robin said, a family 4-pack for that
okay.
one. Yeah,
Okay.
I call it 4. Yeah,
And when is that happening?
It's this Saturday
Okay.
from 10 to 5.
Okay, so if you would like those tickets, you need to call right now during the break. If we have not answered your call, if the phone's still ringing and we're out of the break, then we didn't get you. But otherwise, call in. We got a lot of them. We can answer the phone until we go back out of the break. The number again, 622-9622. We will be right back. 622-WOCA.
Partly sunny today, will be very warm and humid with a shower or thunderstorm around this afternoon. We'll have a high of 87 to 91. A shower or thunderstorm in spots early on tonight, otherwise mostly cloudy, low 62 to 74. Tomorrow will be a cooler and less humid day with sunshine and some clouds, high 78 to 83. And then the humidity comes right back in on Thursday with clouds and some sun at times. It could be a shower or thunderstorm, high Thursday 84 to 86. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Brian Thompson.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. President Trump on Twitter compares the impeachment inquiry to a lynching. He says about the Democrats,
They stick together. I respect that. The other thing is they're vicious.
the president with Fox's Sean Hannity there. Today's witness in the impeachment inquiry is Bill Taylor. He's the acting ambassador to Ukraine. Former President Jimmy Carter is hospitalized with what's being called a minor pelvic fracture after falling at his home in Georgia. A statement from the Carter Center says he's in good spirits and is looking forward to recovering at home. Iraq's government says American troops leaving Syria do not have permission to stay there, but some have crossed the border.
Officials say roughly 100 U.S. armored vehicles evacuating northeast Syria have arrived in Iraq. Defense Secretary Mark Esper says some U.S. troops will stay behind to guard oil fields in the area to keep them from falling into ISIS, Syrian regime, or Iranian hands.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the Pentagon. America's listening to Fox News.
Lowe's has the supplies pros like you use most every day. And when the job demands more, we have the quantities needed for any size job at savings you can count on. Because when you buy in bulk, you'll get 30% off select in-stock insulation and get select in-stock drywall panels up to 15% off. Order at lowesforpros.com and have your order delivered to save time. Or pick up in store, where our pro loaders will be ready to load you up so you can get back to the job site faster. For the supplies you need at great savings, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's, U.S. only.
Panera has new breakfast wraps. And yeah, They're an easy on-the-go start to your day. But these are no microwave and go wraps. These are slow-smoked Chipotle chicken, egg, and avocado go-getters. They're maple bacon, eggy smoked Gouda bundles of portable bliss. And they all pair perfectly with our new cold brews. All this can be yours in an instant with rapid pickup. For breakfast that's fast, not fast food. Panera, food as it should be.
Now.
Here is your one-minute news brief. The driver of an SUV has died after rear-ending a Marion County school bus picking up students for Lake Weir High School yesterday morning on County Road 42. A student boarding the bus was injured and taken to the hospital. President Donald Trump has approved a disaster declaration for Florida in the wake of Hurricane Dorian. The declaration means that federal funding is now available to eligible state and local governments. A legislative panel has sided with Governor Ron DeSantis in removing Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel, who had already been suspended after being accused of mishandling the response to the shooting that killed 17 people. Police say they've removed 3 children and 245 animals from an Edgewater home. A New York man is suing Universal Orlando because his unlimited soda deal did not allow him to fill his cup more than 6 times per hour. And Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay, is celebrating Dia de los Muertos October 31st through November 2nd as part of their Hallow Scream event. And that is your news brief from The Source.
Hey, if you're wanting some color for your yard, then check the big colorful ad in the paper or go to Bob Wine's CameliaGardens.net because Bob has colorful deals that'll knock your eyes out. How about Bob's own heritage brand of top quality camellias? They're budding like crazy and they'll be blooming soon. What's more, they're still priced at a super low $19.99. Bob has great citrus trees this year, the big number 5 size with many bearing fruit right now, regularly $69.95. You buy one, you get one at half price. And how about this? Very nice extra large fern hanging baskets at a record-breaking low price of $12.99 or get 2 for $20. Don't wait, run, don't walk to Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, daily till 4, Saturdays till 3, in the same blooming place since 1952.
Are you overwhelmed by the complexity of promoting your business online? Do you feel like your business is getting left behind in a world that's changing way too fast? Hi, I'm Michael Warren, co-founder of USA for Sale and Brick City Digital Marketing, and I've got good news for you. I'd like to invite you to a special seminar in Ocala on October 30th. This one-time event will give you the tools you need to succeed in the local digital marketplace. Our team is going to guide you through the process of attracting, gaining, and retaining new clients using smart digital marketing. We're going to keep it simple and give you a plan you can put to work immediately. And as our guest, we're going to give you more than $500 in free promotion with absolutely no obligation. We'll also be offering incredible discounts on digital marketing opportunities you won't get anywhere else. Tickets are just $89 and lunch is included. For more information, visit brickcity.com and use promo code RADIO to save 10% on your ticket price. Seats are limited, so visit brickcity.com today.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock, let's return to Carol Ann Baldwin and her show, In the Garden with Carol Ann. And you can be part of the show if you'd like to call in. The number is 622-9622. If you have a question about your lawn, your garden, your plants, your potted plants, or maybe you are interested in what Carol Ann's been talking about regarding the fairy garden, or my amended idea, which was the dragon garden.
Would have been right. Dragon garden. If you're going to Repticon, you can, or even already have a pet, lizard, kind of thing. But always with something like that, because those little critters may eat your plants, possibly. So always be sure that
those little lizards that we see out there, they eat the bugs, don't they?
They eat the bugs, but they may munch a leaf or something. So you always have to be careful.
Give a little salad with them.
Or something little, just all kinds of different things. You just wouldn't want to bring something into their habitat that would not be good for them.
I see them in here, even in this.
They get in. I think sometimes you never know. They come in under. The door opens and they're chasing a bug, and boop, next thing you know they're in. How many times I had one in my bathroom that I kept trying to keep, as a pet. And he did pretty good for a while.
You tried to keep it as a pet?
I tried to keep him as a pet. I made sure there was, little water handy for him so that,
Oh, my
and I
gosh.
kept telling him to stay away from the cat.
What did he eat?
I don't know. He didn't last long.
Oh, he didn't last long.
I don't know where he went.
Probably
He
couldn't find
disappeared.
anything.
Couldn't find enough to eat, but it was like he got in. Because sometimes they'll get between your screen and your window, and then if it happens to be that you go, it's foggy in here, I'll open the window, and and then next thing you know, lizard's in the house.
So
instead.
how do the kids, they put them on their earlobes?
They let them bite them.
And they can't let go? They don't.
Well, they're stuck there because if you're moving, he's going to hold on. he's threatened.
My gosh.
Because I rescued a lizard out of the house one day, and he bit me. And actually, it hurt a little bit. I'm trying to get him outside, and it's going, let go, little buddy. I'm trying to save your butt. And,
he bit your hand, your finger?
He bit my finger. Yeah, bit my finger.
And it hurt?
A little bit. It was
Really?
It was uncomfortable. It wasn't something
Did I ever tell you the time?
But to get him to let go, it's like, here, I'm trying to put you in a flower pot with with cover and that, and let go, and had to pinch his little side of his mouth to get him to open his mouth.
Yeah, but we look like the Empire State Building.
Oh yeah, but he was tough. He's a little chihuahua there.
He's gonna bite the Empire State Building.
Yeah, he's like, I'll bite King Kong.
So when Alex was little, he was fishing off the pier in Daytona, and he cast his line and he caught a seagull.
Oh my!
And we pulled it in so I could get the hook out of it.
Yeah.
And the bird was biting my fingers as I was trying to pull the hook out of its wing.
Right.
Fortunately, there was no damage done.
Right.
I didn't see any blood. It just was kind of caught in his feathers.
Caught on it. Yeah.
And it was biting me. And Caroline, it didn't hurt at all. It was his mouth was on my finger, but just it almost felt like just two fingers. Squishing my finger, but no pain. Just
and we
got it out. He flew away.
Maybe he wasn't trying to hurt you. He was just trying to to get you to stop.
I was trying to bite me.
Yeah, he wasn't. Well, the poor little lizard. I mean,
but do you remember when we were kids? Now you're from up north, so that's why I'm asking if you remember this. The trees that put out this thing you could open up the seed and put them on your nose.
Oh, maple trees. Yeah, made Pinocchio noses.
What the heck with that? That was just a seed.
Maple trees.
And you can make helicopters out of them too.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they were maple trees.
That's what we did. Hugh is trying to call in. Really? Is there something wrong with the phone?
Yeah, he said there was he can't get in.
Okay, let me try. I'm sorry. You know what it is? I got my device down there. Thank you, Robin. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
I have a beautiful orange ginger plant.
Okay.
And it's looking a little bit yellowy, like it's getting ready to go to sleep for the winter.
Yeah.
Do they
Me too.
die down and then come back?
Most of the gingers do, and of course we went through quite a dry period, and we all know that tap water's not, the happiest for plants, but even my my curcumas are going, guess what, we're going to go to sleep here pretty soon, even though the peacock ginger's saying, hey, I'm fine and dandy. So some will probably die back a little sooner than others.
Okay, I have well water, so that shouldn't be the problem.
No,
and
but well water
it's the prettiest thing.
Yeah, and well water still is not the same as rainwater as it comes down. Many of us in Marion County have well water, and in the springtime as we try to water our lawns, it still never looks perked up until we get a good rain.
Okay. Well, I've had it out in the rain too. So
yeah.
But I keep it out of the sun.
Right. Is it one of the? Is it one of the orange torch gingers?
It probably is. It's a magnificent bloom. It had like 3 big blooms on it, and the leaves are just spectacular too.
Yeah, just nice wide leaves to them. Yeah.
Yes.
They're going to sleep. Mine are doing the same thing.
Okay, so it will die down and then come back up in the spring. Hopefully?
Yeah. Yes, it will. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I can handle that.
Sure.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tell Larry that my apple tree is about 4 feet tall now, but it's just a high stick, really, with a lot of leaves.
Well, there you go.
That's kind of what mine is too.
Right,
yeah,
right. So,
okay. Well, I just don't want Larry's to be prettier than mine.
Well, this spring when they leaf back out, we'll all have to take pictures and compare them.
See how they're doing. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks for calling. Yeah, thanks for calling. Bye-bye now.
Yeah, see, that's why we are guardians of the apple tree. So we keep in touch with each other.
That's
We're
right.
part of an exclusive club.
Yep. See, and I think I'm the only one with a branch.
I think you might be, yeah, because I have a tiny little thing that might be considered
becoming a branch.
But in your case, it really is a branch.
It is, yeah. I'll have to put it on a solid backdrop so you can see it.
Well, you have an advantage.
He's got some bad leaves on him, but it's okay. I mean, that happens. That's what part of nature is the flaws are not necessarily detrimental.
Are they are the leaves bad because of the season or because they're not getting enough water or why?
Probably a few of them initially had a little bit of the issue with the dry, but see now you have that the big whiskey barrel,
right.
So yours doesn't dry out quite as quickly. Mine's in the fabric pot, so mine I think did dry out a little bit, but got water on. I went, forgot to water you a couple times, and that was probably a little bit of. Hey, I'm a lazy gardener. I really am. It'll be.
That's your book.
Yeah, there you go.
The Lazy
Gardener. Yeah, what's the easy way we can do this? So and part of it's the weather, part of it may be, I don't get quite as much sun as it should. I've got it, I think, in the sunniest place I can put it right now. I may move it around a little bit and see if I get a little better sun. I think mine's going to go in a bigger pot maybe this winter, and like because yours, you got yours in great big.
It would be interesting to see if any of them actually produce apples. I know you said
we got a long wait, but we can. We'll see if we can do it.
All right, we do have a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning, Carol Ann.
Morning, Sonny. Yeah.
We're talking about the sun a lot and the crazy weather we're having here. But anybody ever think about Greenland and how its name came about?
Oh yeah, we've gone through that because Greenland was at one time green and Iceland was at one time ice.
Well, yeah.
So that's
I think it was either discovered by the Portuguese fishermen, but they never recorded it, or Leif Erikson or Eric the Red.
Right.
And the thing is, they saw it as Greenland, and that's how it got its name.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually developed settlements there.
Right.
They built the homes out of stone and everything. It was really quite something. Even had a big church there.
Right.
They had full-time settlements, and the cold weather came back.
Right.
It happened between 800 and 1200, the years 800 to 1200.
Right. So,
Well, now I just saw a picture not too long ago. There's a lot of green there now along the bays. There's no real heavy ice in the bays there right now. But to me, they talk about climate change. Well, how did Greenland get its name?
Exactly.
That's number one. That's number one to my book. That was a long time ago, long before factories.
Right, long before the combustion engine. Right. Oh, exactly. And it is. It can be weather cycles. We don't know what happened, honestly, 5,000 years ago. We don't know. Even 500 years ago.
But anyway, I can tell you one time, 1973, I was working and my father had retired and moved upstate. And 73, the Hudson River froze solid almost from the Tappan Zee all the way up to Troy, New York. So that meant there was a big oil shortage for heating oil and like that.
Sure.
Because the barges were the ones that took that kind of bulk oil up to distribution centers like in Troy, New York.
Right.
And there was no getting up there with a tugboat and a barge.
No.
They actually had to send a icebreaker to break up the ice to go up New York. But that was that 1 year. But I mean, it's an example of how the weather changes. And I believe our sun right now is really playing havoc with the Earth because it's spewing out more UV radiation than it has in the past couple of 100 years.
Yeah, and they've been talking recently, on some of that, some of the weather, a little bit here and there, or some of the science programs, and you pick up on it, and it is. I mean, it's cyclic. This could be something that maybe we didn't fully record prior to, obviously we didn't record too much of it prior to 1900 even. So it's still, in relatively thinking, is still new science on what's going on with that. So it's
I have pictures from my family with ice boats on the Hudson River north of Tappan Zee area. They actually had ice boats, and I think the mail came down from Albany on an ice boat.
Right.
Somewhere else.
Sure.
So, I mean, those things could really travel fast.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But anyway, it's just crazy how the weather is, and it affects everything.
Right. Oh, it does,
One of the other things I question, to get back to the gardening, is now a good time to put down all-purpose fertilizer? Time release fertilizer.
For your lawn?
Yeah.
Okay, it really should. I mean, if you're going to do it now. Because it's really pretty much almost past that time. We don't want to fertilize after November. So you put it down now, and it's your last fertilization until middle to the end of March.
Right, that's I was thinking about that because I do remember talking to you before about it, but I just wanted to verify it.
Yeah.
Seems like I'm missing the window again.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get it down now, this is, just get it down, because we are warm, and even looking out the month forward into November and things like that, it looks like we're still going to be in that low 80s kind of thing, so the grass will still use it, and that. So don't be worried that you're going to burn it or waste your money by putting it down now. We just try not to put any more down until fall after October, just because of that time period.
Well, the funny thing with senior citizens is everybody thinks you got all the time in the world to do this, that, and the other thing.
Right.
I don't really. Myself, my wife, and a lot of other people I know didn't really retire. We changed occupations.
Right.
Yeah, we're now professional patients.
Oh boy, yeah. Then sometimes you're too busy now to be able to go to work.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, thank you very much, Carol. Thank you, Larry.
Yep.
Robin, Joe, for putting on In Your Garden with Carol Ann, and thank you, Carol Ann, for being here on the radio for us.
It's my pleasure, and without the listeners, I wouldn't have a show. So thanks for being one of them. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sonny. Yep. Bye.
See, I always imagine that I'm retired and I'm listening to you, so somebody else will be sitting here.
Sure. That one day,
talking.
And just thinking about what the weather now. I bumped into November with the Weather Channel thing, and grabbed all of November, and it's just giving me, after the 5th of November, it's just giving me what the averages are. And I mean, even our averages are usually in that upper 70s for November, even though our first expected frost date can be November 15th. That, as far as I know, they've not moved that any. Right. I think they would have to take many more years of not having it hit right around that time period to be able to change that. So it is still something to keep an eye out for and paying attention. Is that we're fertilizing now. If you're fertilizing now, you're only 3 weeks out from that first expected frost date. So that's why we try to do things much earlier. Once we have have that first frost, that grass really stops any significant growing. You may need to mow once a month kind of thing, if that. Once that first frost hits, you never want to take that grass way down, especially in the wintertime. Again, same thing in the summer. Mow it at the recommended height, maybe just a smidge higher, leaving it, just a little higher, that way if cold damage happens, it's on that upper tip. It's not getting down to that root zone area or lower down on the blades. If you have leaves falling, maybe run the mower up pretty high. You can clean all those up with the mower by chopping them all up. Feeding the yard with those leaves by chopping them up, because they'll break down much more quickly. If you're and after that after we get some decent cooler weather, you'll be okay again on those fall cool season annuals to put in. Your fall gardens might even be struggling a little bit this year because we've been as warm as we have. But just looking forward on it. But it is just giving me the averages into November of being in that upper 70s to about 80 degrees for November for the highs, with the lows being in the mid 50s, to mid to upper 50s kind of thing. So, I mean, usually we do get a pretty decent change in the temperatures once November hits. So pay attention on that. We're not going to bring out the fertilizers and spreaders, after this month. Just leave them, put them back in, hose them out real good, hang them up in the garage.
For a while?
Keep them put away for a while. Keep the mower handy. We may still need to mow here or there. Because we do, it doesn't go into a full dormancy. That's why we have some issues with certain plants that they don't go dormant. They just seem to grow themselves to death sometimes, or they won't bloom because we don't get enough cold weather. What was I going to say? I had the other idea I had for today, and I know we're running low on time today, is strawberries in the backyard garden. Everybody, loves fresh fruit and things like that, and sometimes we don't have enough room to put, or don't want to take the chance with the citrus greening and things like that, or you don't have the room to put that. Blueberries take such specialized soil conditions, but strawberries, if you've got a nice sunny porch and things like that, you can grow strawberries, and you can grow them in a fancy strawberry pot that has the openings on the sides, or you could grow them in a big whiskey barrel, or you could grow them in a hanging basket, or you can grow them in the ground. So it's very versatile, or where you can put them. Some plants should be available now. They may not be the exact ones that are recommended.
How long before you get strawberries?
It'll probably, if you're planting them now, it might be after Christmas, but strawberries like our cooler weather. If you ever notice, the Plant City strawberries usually are coming in right around the holidays, and then in through till about April or so.
How would I grow the Cool Whip?
You grow the Cool Whip from the Publix freezer compartment there. I'm not sure the aisle, but it usually will go BOGO, so you get to go, get two. But strawberries aren't that hard to grow. They like lots of sunshine. They do like regular fertilization, and they always used to say like a 20-20-20 liquid fertilizer. That's really hard to find nowadays. So if you're going in a pot, you're going with potting mix. If it's new stuff, it already has fertilizer in it, so don't add more when you put it in, because that's going to feed it for an extended time. So you may just need to give them a little bit of some type, whether or not you use an organic, whatever your favorite fertilizer type, liquid type fertilizer, occasionally through that growing season, and just lots of sunshine. About the only real big problem I think that strawberries have, insect-wise, are mites. So you have to watch that the leaves will just start to look bronzy and that. So you gotta watch for that. But that's about the only pest. You can treat that with the neem oil kind of thing.
Will the lizards eat that?
No, they're so tiny. No, the mites are just that. They're little mites, and maybe an occasional fungal issue, which, you should be able to, even the neem oil might even take care of that. So it might be, just watching those, lots of sunshine, even watering. And when we get cold weather, everybody says, well, aren't they going to freeze? No, the plants will be fine. But if it's going to drop below 30 degrees, yes, the flowers and the berries will be damaged. But if they are, clean it all up, 30 days later, you're getting more fruit. So it just, it might
that
take
sounds like
about
a fun
30
idea.
days. Yeah. So, I got to get a few more. I lost some of mine out of my, still have a few that are still alive from last year's planting. I wish I had a better sunny spot. I got to watch the yard, and because I have a 3-tiered planter, I want to put them in and either hang it or.
That's a good idea.
But it's awful heavy when you try to hang that thing.
One quick reminder for the listeners that Carol Ann does have a Facebook page dedicated to this topic. It's called In the Garden. If you go on Facebook and just type in the Garden in the search box, it'll lead you to two with that name, and one of them is in Sanibel Island. That's not Carol Ann.
That's not us.
Carol Ann's is the one with the fairy garden on the picture. So.
And just ask to join. If I'm a little slow, sometimes it doesn't pop it up
right away.
Right away, but yeah, if you're there and you're legitimately want to be there, I will say yes.
And Hugh, if you're listening, Robin told me you were trying to get through, and I think everything should be working. So if in the last minute here you want to squeeze a call in, anybody, this is anybody.
That's true.
622-9622 if you don't know the number. And see, next week will be the Halloween show.
Right before Halloween, yeah. So I have to come up with some Halloween ideas. So that we can, some spooky plants. Or, what can you do to have a little fun with some Halloween decorations? Of course, I guess you'd probably already have them up. And no, I have not carved a pumpkin yet. I haven't bought my pumpkin yet, and so this might actually be the weekend to do that.
Yeah,
I'm off tomorrow.
Are you cutting it in the bottom or the top? Didn't you tell us to do the bottom?
On some of them it says do the bottom because it makes it easier to lift up the pumpkin and do, the candle easier. But if you're using like the flicker lights, I don't guess, the LED ones, I'm not sure. And if anybody has done a pumpkin and they've tried the, 10% bleach solution, I think it was.
So it won't rot?
To help to keep it from rotting. Let us know. I will try something like that. I was even thinking of whether or not, I don't remember if one of the suggestions was like hairspray. To keep that from, I thought it was, because that would possibly seal that up. So just a couple of,
I think
if anybody's tried that. But of course, if you do any of these things, it's not something you're going to, throw out to any of your, the wild animals or anything. Maybe the vinegar one, not the vinegar, the bleach one, you might be able to rinse that back up, break it up, and put it in your compost. So.
Very good.
Alrighty.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. You give us a bright day in the broadcast week. Carol Ann, thank you for doing this. You have to work today?
My pleasure. I sure do.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But it's fun this time of year, right?
It can be, yeah.
Hectic.
It can be busy. Yeah, it can be busy. Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.